Hello, everybody. Thanks for watching or listening to Spiritual Sundays, presented to you by Home Base Leadership, your home business and personal development resource. Today, we are going to have an awesome topic. Why do we need a spiritual practice? But before I get into the topics, I have a couple quick, short announcements about Home Base Leadership. If you're ready to make a big life change, visit homebaseleadership.com and search on the coaching tab, and you can find where you can sign up for a free consultation, a 30-minute free consultation to make a major life change or to help you improve your business. The second announcement is this show, Spiritual Sundays, as well as Motivation Mondays, now has its very first sponsor. I am so proud and honored to have Audible as our first sponsor. Audible has played a major role in my life. It has allowed me to turn my night job of driving into my own personal mobile university. So I can download all kinds of books on spiritual growth, business growth, even some of the textbooks that I used during my college career. I downloaded on Audible and listened to them so I could get through those thick, heavy textbooks a lot faster than I ever thought possible. So if you want to support Home Base Leadership, you can go on homebaseleadership.com and try Audible for free for yourself. Just click on any of my favorite books under the Mobile University tab, or on the home page where I've highlighted the book of the month. The book of the month this month is by Napoleon Hill. It is The 16 Laws of Success, one of the very first leadership books that I ever got into. It's a really awesome book. You can click on the book. You can buy the book. You can buy the Kindle version, or you can subscribe to a free trial membership. When you subscribe to a free trial membership, you get to keep that book for free. So whether it's that book or something else, some of my other favorites from Malcolm Gladwell or Mel Robbins, they're all there. Tony Robbins. Click on any of those books, take a free book, and I'm so proud and excited to have Audible as our first sponsor to Home Base Leadership. So that's on homebaseleadership.com. Second thing that I wanted to talk about real quick before we got started was I put up a post earlier this week about some products that I'm trying to use for weight loss and to gain my overall health. I shared that I lost 9 pounds in 1 week, and I've got a big boost of energy, and I'm really excited about the stuff. I'm not quite ready to release it to anybody just yet, but I'm going to try it for a few more weeks and see how it goes. I am excited about this new program, and I hope that it'll be something that I can offer to everyone as well. Really amazing stuff, and I will be sharing a lot more about that. So to get started today, last week we talked about what's the spirit? What is the spirit? And how is it related to the mind? How is it related to the body? Where does it exist? How does it exist? Trying to find something tangible about the spirit. So we had a lot of great callers, and they shared what the spirit was, what spirituality is to them, how they define the spirit. And today, I wanted to look at spiritual practices. So there is 3 main spiritual practices, 3 main spiritual disciplines. Well, why do they call them disciplines? Discipline isn't something that, like as kids, we always think of discipline as, getting in trouble for doing something or something like that. But discipline really is just a practice, something that you practice, that you will continue to practice forever and ever, because you can always grow, you can always improve, and you can always become better at it. So that's why we refer to it as a spiritual discipline. It's also, in educational senses, when we pursue a certain career in college. We also refer to that as a discipline, because it's something that we don't just go to college once, we finish, with our bachelor's, our master's, or whatever, and then we're done. We just never go again. We continue to practice, we continue to learn, we continue to grow, and therefore it makes it a discipline. So, three main spiritual disciplines that, and then there are many subsets of these three main ones. So, we start with the three main ones, and then then there's the subsets that come from that. But we'll just focus on the three main ones today. The three main spiritual disciplines are prayer, fasting, and meditation. And there's a lot of variations, like I said, subsets of those three main disciplines, depending on what your spiritual practice are, or maybe what religious background you come from. So to look at prayer, I think prayer is relatively self-explanatory. It is time of reflection or communication to pray for, or wish for, hope for. Generally, it's done out loud. We say a prayer, or we say a prayer in our minds. But basically, it's some form of communication. So that's prayer. Fasting. So fasting, I definitely want to say that I do practice all three of these spiritual disciplines. Some more than others, and fasting is one that I take in moderation. And if it's something that you want to look into for yourself, I would highly recommend talking to your doctor about it first. Fasting is not something to be just taken lightly and done, willy-nilly. And I know that it will have effects on your body, generally in a positive sense. But I highly recommend talking to a doctor before you take up one of the spiritual discipline of fasting. So. Fasting is one of the second spiritual disciplines, and fasting basically it shows us how busy our mind is, and how our mind is always constantly in craving. We can eat a good substantial meal, and after if we eat too much, then we're feeling uncomfortable, and we're thinking about how uncomfortable we feel for a while. So our mind is constantly consumed with the digestion and processing of the food. And then if we haven't eaten in a while and we're hungry, then the mind is constantly going, oh, I need to eat. So fasting kind of shows you how busy your mind is focused on eating, rather than just on living. So, and there's a lot more to the spiritual discipline of fasting, but I'm just kind of skimming the surface of a lot of these. Hopefully we'll be taking some callers here in just a second. And I'd like to say I'm going to introduce the third spiritual discipline here now, and I know that there's a little bit of a time delay. So right after I'm done talking about the third one, if we could take some callers at that point, that would be great. The number I posted on the post today, you can also see it on the board behind me, 248-653-4403. So the third spiritual discipline is meditation. And meditation is an excellent way to kind of combine the first two. So it's a period of rest for your body, so that you're not digesting food, or hopefully not thinking about consuming food. And it's also a period of silent communication. So, what does silent communication mean? Have you ever had a relationship with somebody, and maybe you go on a nice long car ride with them? If you're out on this nice car ride, and you just spend the whole entire time just talking about the car ride, or whatever you're seeing, you're not really present in the moment. You're not really enjoying the moment. You're actually just you're just consuming the time with talking. Well, silent communication is just kind of being there with that person, or just being in that experience and enjoying and taking in that experience. So there is a silent communication going on there. So why is it important to have a spiritual practice or a spiritual discipline? Why do we need a spiritual practice? I'd like to open the phone lines up now and take some calls on that. 248-653-4403. I know you could see it on their shoulder there. See it on the board back there. It's 248-653-4403. And I'd like to definitely hear from you and why you think, what you think about a spiritual practice. What spiritual practices do you practice, and why do you think that they're important? And what, like, what's, to anybody who is new to spirituality or new to having a spiritual practice, what is the importance of doing a spiritual practice? So I think, growing up, the very first spiritual practice that I ever practiced obviously was prayer. And, I learned prayer in just in a ritual sense. So I was given a prayer to memorize, and, memorize a prayer. And, as kids, we were always told to say the prayer before bed, or before dinner. That's another time you'd say a prayer. And it was just kind of thanking for, for the day, or thanking for the food. And, so that was my first exposure, excuse me, my first exposure to my very first spiritual practice was prayer. And, I found that to be, when I practiced it every day, I definitely felt more grateful. I felt more grateful for my days that I lived. I felt more grateful for the time or for the food that I was eating. So, but it took that practice. It took trying it, doing it daily in order to have that experience of that gratitude. So again, the phone lines are definitely open now to take your comments and your thoughts and what you do for your spiritual practice. We're talking about the 3 spiritual disciplines today: prayer, fasting, meditation. And definitely I'm very aware of a lot of different categories that stem from those 3 main practices. So, if you want to talk about one of those different things, but mainly we're just trying to look at, why do we need a spiritual practice? Why do we do that? Why do we need to have any kind of spiritual practice? Why does that need to be part of our life? So if anybody wants to call in to share with us. Okay, we got a caller. Here we go. Hey, caller. Thanks for calling the Home-Based Leadership Hotline and spending Spiritual Sunday with us. What's your name and where are you calling from? Oh, I lost one. Okay. Maybe they'll call back. All right. So, yeah, I mean, that kind of threw me for a loop, so I guess it'll take me a second to regain. But yeah, so, I talked about prayer, and why prayer I thought was, a significant spiritual practice, because it helped me to bring gratitude in my life, because the prayers that I had learned and used were definitely oriented towards gratitude. But, we're talking about the other 3 spiritual disciplines: prayer, gratitude, and I'm sorry, I was just distracted by the call. Prayer, meditation, and fasting. Fasting, meditation, prayer, any combination of those. So in fasting, yeah. So I talked about how fasting, what kind of results I've got from that, or what kind of results I got from prayer. From fasting definitely was an interesting practice that I practiced, and I only started practicing that maybe a couple of years ago, as I started to learn about it and learn why it was a significant spiritual discipline. And the most important thing that I learned was how distracted I was all the time, how I could really never truly be present in any one moment because of my cravings, because of my constant either processing of the food that I've just taken. So, worrying about the past food that I've just taken. All right, looks like we got another caller. Oh, this is one of my favorites, Miss Marie Noon, calling in to talk about why to have a spiritual practice. Thanks for calling in, Marie. You're on with Home-Based Leadership.
Happy Sunday. Happy Spiritual Sunday to you.
Happy Spiritual Sunday to you.
I was listening to you talk, and I was just thinking about when we were at one of the most difficult times that we faced in our 20 plus years together, when we had just lost everything, and our living situation was not good, and you came home with this stack of CDs, and you were so excited, like, this is going to change everything. And I know that at that time, things were tough for us, and we weren't getting along very well, and I was kind of like, okay, like, whatever. But every day you were like, we're going to listen to one of these CDs together before we go to bed, and something's going to change for us. And you just had this, like, weird faith that everything was going to be okay. And we started listening to those CDs, and we started learning about how our own attitudes affect our reality, and how, there's so many people out there talking about how, you create your own reality and that kind of stuff, which can sound like hocus pocus sometimes, but but the reality is that through that time together where we were quiet and we were just listening to that, and we were listening to guided meditations, what happened was it cleared away the stress, and it cleared away just kind of the garbage that piled up in our mind.
That's true.
And what we didn't realize was happening, but I realize now, is that it made room for us to figure out a new solution, to look at the problem a new way. We were so filled up with the misery of our situation, and we were so focused on that, that we didn't have any room for creativity or for problem solving. And so when we started to do that, all of a sudden it was like we manifested money out of thin air.
It's true. That's true. Yeah, we really did. And then for sure.
I had this picture of a house in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And you said, we were looking for apartments at the time, and you said, let's look for a house. And I'm like, that's crazy. We can't have a house. I mean, look at what we just came out of. There's no way we can get a house. And you were like, well, I'm calling a real estate agent anyway. And then the day that you said she's taking us to see 3 houses, when we pulled up in front of the house that was literally in my imagination, I could have fell right over. Like, how did that happen? But it's true. It really happened. That was the house. And we got the house.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's the house that our kids, spent most of their time growing up in. And they'll never forget you standing in the driveway and picking up a stone out of the driveway and saying, this is my gratitude rock. And you put it in your pocket. And you said, that's going to stay there to remind me to always be in this attitude of gratitude and to be grateful for what I have. And we've had a lot of things to advance our spiritual practice and meditation and everything, but but that's what, we didn't probably really realize that we were doing meditation then, and and the role that gratitude played in all of that. But
definitely,
it really did create something for us that we didn't have, and that I don't think we would have been able to do before. And I think that's a key thing. It doesn't matter what religion you practice.
Mm-hmm.
Meditation is going to help you, and there's a lot of different kinds of meditation. I know there's references to it in all the religious texts.
Absolutely.
I know it's all over the place in the Bible, and and just a lot of the Eastern religions, that meditation is a huge part of it. But one thing to know is how much space it clears up. It's like there's constantly a broom going through your mind, sweeping out the garbage. and your creativity goes up, your problem solving goes up, and your life just can't help but change. And your attitude gets better. Our relationship got better. Every single aspect of our life was changed just by your decision to go out and buy some guided meditations.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's amazing what
It
that
is.
can do.
It really is.
I just thought I would share that, and I would share that stone that you kept in your pocket all
Definitely.
those years until one day it finally disappeared. I mean, you had that for years and years until it was worn down to a nice, smooth thing. It was kind of a lumpy old rock when you put it in your pocket.
That's true.
I remember that
That's
it
so
was
true.
white, and after years it was kind of blue from always being in your jeans pocket. And
Yeah.
you know, it's
Yeah.
like, but you did not give up on that, and you switched from that to a gratitude journal, and
Yeah.
the things that I know you've said before, when you go back and flip through that from time to time, it's amazing how many things you were grateful for that you didn't have, but you believed were yours anyway, that you now have in your life. So I think that, you know, and maybe you want to talk a little bit about your own feelings about that, but I know that it had a huge impact on me and a lot of the other people you've shared those stories with. So that's all I have for you today.
Well, thank you. Thanks for calling in. Thanks for always supporting the show and being one of the first callers to call in. We definitely appreciate your knowledge and insight, and today's reminder of our early spiritual practices is really, really big and important to me. So yeah, I appreciate that reminder. Thank you so much.
Yep. Have a good one.
All right, you too. Bye. So yeah, that's those were good. Those were great reminders. I was just getting started talking about fasting before Marie called, and so not having a ton of experience with fasting, I would just say that through that practice, it brought an awareness to how busy our minds are, always focused either on the past or in the future, and either focusing on the food we've just taken in, or worrying about our next meal and what's the next thing we're going to eat. But Marie got to talking about our early meditation practices and how I brought home some guided meditation CDs, and what a big difference that made in our lives. And she brought up the importance of, two important things, really. The fact that what meditation does about emptying you out so that you can have your cup refilled. I know in a lot of sacred texts all over, there's references to the cup overflowing, and that just refers to abundance. But it also refers to the fact that if your cup is overflowing with all of your past impressions, with all of the ideas that you have, and this idea that you're well-grounded in everything that you know and everything that is in your life, not being able to come to a place, to the universe, to God, to whatever, not being able to communicate because your cup is overflowing. We've talked about before, I think, on our very first one about the importance of listening. And in the case of meditation is creating that space to be able to listen and to be able to take in something new. If you come to this relationship of spirituality from a place of I know everything, or I know everything, I know everything about the situation in my life right now, and I know that there is limited a number of things that I can do to change that, then your cup is already overflowing and there's no space to fill it with anything else. So meditation allows you to empty that cup out. It allows you to totally empty it out and come from a place of you're ready to receive again. And the only way to receive is really to receive from that place of emptiness and that place of silence and quiet reflection. And that is, in our early days of our meditation practices and just going through these guided meditations, as Marie said, we didn't really know what we were doing by that. We just thought, well, it's a nice way for us to calm down because we are so stressed out about our situation of not having a place to live and having just lost, so many things, lost our home and our cars and everything, and having, having our life and our kids' lives disrupted. So rather than trying to approach that whole situation from a place of frustration and anger and pointing the finger and blaming and why me and all of this stuff, taking the time to meditate and just being grateful for being able to have food that we had to eat that day was so important. So when our cups finally did empty out and we were ready to receive again, then and only then were we given and granted more. And as Marie said, I just, I did, I thought, well, we don't have any money, our credit's a mess, I had no right picking up the phone and calling a real estate agent, but I thought, I'm just going to do it anyway, because that's what my faith, that's what everything was telling me to do at the time. So I just did, and the real estate agent gave me so many different solutions. Well, you can rent, and you can do this, and you can do that, and how about I show you a couple houses that you could rent? And I thought, okay, well, we can rent a house, big deal. Still don't have any money. And I just was grateful to have the real estate agent giving me options, and still grateful for the space that we had to live in at that time, and still practicing the meditation, still trying to empty my cup out, and still trying to be able to receive. And she showed us this place, and at the time when she showed us this place, Marie said she had dreamed about this house nights before, a couple nights in a row. But still, we didn't have the money. So we came home to do our taxes. It was time to do our taxes, and we did our taxes, and mysteriously we came up with $6,000 that was coming to us. And so I'm not trying to say that magic things happen when you meditate, or when you meditate, you're going to get $6,000 or anything like that. I'm just saying that when you are involved in a spiritual practice, you're emptying your cup out so that you're able to receive, and you're able to receive miracles and do the things that you need to do. The phone lines are definitely open. If you want to call in and tell us why do you think you need a spiritual practice, or why do you do a spiritual practice? The number is 248-653-4403. You can see it on the board back there, hopefully. 248-653-4403. Call in and share with us in the next few minutes before I wrap this up. Why do you have a spiritual practice, or why do you need one? But so kind of continuing on with that story, just so this miracle happened. We were able to rent this house. This money came in mysteriously, and we were able to rent the house. And as Marie said, I picked up this stone, and I said, I want to have this as my gratitude stone, and put a lot of energy into how grateful I was to the things that had happened to make all of that happen. And I put that stone in my pocket, and I carried it in my pocket for a long time. And I had a really physical job, so I always had that stone in my pocket. And every time I was having a bad day, or I was dealing with a rough customer, or things weren't going my way, or whatever, that stone would always poke me right in the leg. Okay, good. We got another caller. Hey there, caller. Thanks for calling Home-Based Leadership on Spiritual Sunday. Thanks for spending Spiritual Sunday with us. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yes, it's Sonia calling from Rochester. Hello.
Sonia, all right. Sonia, definitely gave you a shout out last week. Sonia watches all the time. So grateful for Sonia.
Love your show. Love you. What you're doing out there. It's awesome.
Thank you. So why do we need a spiritual practice, Sonia? Why do we do this? What's a spiritual practice, and why do we need one?
Well, for me, I think the biggest thing is our life is a journey, going through, I don't know, 80, 100 years and not having anything and no purpose, kind of, just looking at yourself and thinking, what is my purpose here? What is it that I'm here for? A spiritual practice is absolutely essential for everyone, because they have a bigger vision than their own desires, their own wants. Giving, caring, creating the life that you want with a bigger purpose, I really feel is essential. And having a practice grounds you from the outside world and, bringing you to a stronger sense of self to give more back.
That's really profound, and I would started off the show talking about the three main spiritual disciplines or practices out there, being prayer, fasting, and meditation. Which of these three, or do you practice all three? Which of these three do you find to be the most beneficial to you?
I think the practices, the actual physical practices that work for me is just being present and in the now. And that has really profoundly changed my life. Being present and knowing in every action, every moment is going by very quickly, and giving your 100% in a positive way. And what you put out there is what you attract. So being aware how you feel, how you treat people, what you eat, what you watch, all of those things have, it in itself is a spiritual practice. So for me, I found breathing, relaxing the breath when I'm stressed, allowing me to be more aware of who I hang around, who I speak to, how I speak. Every little bit contributes to the way you think.
Definitely.
And if you kind of pollute your mind with negativity, then the negativity grows in your own life.
Absolutely. That's so important. You're absolutely right. So you find that through your spiritual practices that helps to sort of clear out negativity in your life, and so that you're not experiencing or having as much negativity in your life. Is that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think sometimes we're not aware of it, and it's not like we're thinking, yes, positive, yes, I'm negative. It kind of comes to us slowly, and we've developed these habits of creating this negativity because of patterns from our childhood or, the environment that we're in, and it just takes over. And then you have to check yourself in and say, hey, you know what? Is this good for me right now?
Right.
Is this person good for me right now? And just step back a little bit, because if the foundation of the home is not strong, then it won't hold your house up. So your life is like that. We need a strong base and foundation to keep you grounded and keep you centered, that you can carry and take care of more people, your family, your friends, your loved ones,
Absolutely.
Everybody around you.
Yep, absolutely. That is so, yeah, it really helps to make the foundation of your home very strong. I really love how you said that. Well, Sonia, thank you so much for calling in. I really appreciate it. Is there anything else that you wanted to share with us about spiritual practices?
Awesome. I think everything is great. I love what you do, and I believe that everybody should absolutely have a spiritual practice. And my take on it is, if we find the right one and we really understand, how it's benefiting us, having a practice, the importance of having a practice, I think everybody should have one for sure. This world needs, really positive energy around us, and a practice really grounds our life.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time, and I appreciate you always watching the videos and supporting me, and I really appreciate you calling in today.
Thank you. Thanks, Ned. Awesome. Bye.
Bye. Have a great day. Bye. Well, that was awesome. Okay. Well, so, yeah, keeping, building a strong foundation with, your home will definitely fall over or sink in the quicksand, or, it won't be a good structure unless it's got a great foundation, and a way to build a great foundation is with a great spiritual practice. So again, I'd like to take one or two more calls before we wrap it up today. The number is 248-653-4403. We are talking about spiritual practices today. Why do we need a spiritual practice? I'm going to kind of, return to that story about the gratitude stone real quick, and just, so I picked up this stone after receiving so much, after all these miracles in my life, and I put that stone in my pocket. I see my daughter Kimberly is on right now, so I know this is one of her favorite stories. She definitely picked one up. I told the kids I thought they should have gratitude stones, and we all picked one up out of the driveway that day. But so I carried that stone with me, and anytime I was having a bad day or things weren't going well, that stone was poking me in the leg. It was reminding me that, hey, this situation is going to pass. This situation is it's going to pass. It's going to go relatively quickly. As things do, things are always changing, and just be grateful for all the things that you already have. So Kimberly says she still has her stone. So I love that, and I knew she did. I knew she did because we talk about it from time to time. And I think that's so great, to have a memento of a gratitude stone. This is let's see if I can get it here. This is my gratitude. Let's see, I can't figure out the camera angles here. This is my gratitude journal, and I guess this is one of my forms of prayer. So I'm not one that really prays out loud all that much anymore. I mean, I do a little bit. Probably maybe before or after meditation, I might say a few prayers. But most of my prayer is in written form in that gratitude journal, and that gratitude journal has taken the place of my gratitude stone, and it's where I write down the things that I'm grateful for right here and now. And being grateful for what you have is another way of emptying that cup out so that you can fill it up. It's another way of prayer. It's another way of having a spiritual practice to build that strong foundation. So I'm going to throw the question out, or the offer out there one more time for anybody who wants to call in and share with us why to have a spiritual practice. Why do we need a spiritual practice? What kind of spiritual practices do you practice? The number, as you can see behind the board over there, is 248-653-4403. Dave Washington. Yeah, Dave Washington, another guy who watches all the time. Dave, thank you so much for jumping on, checking this one out. We're talking about spiritual practices. I know that Dave is a spiritual guy too. He's always talking about praying. He says a lot of things about praying. So, okay, we got a call. Here we go. Thanks for calling a Home-Based Leadership Spiritual Sundays. What's your name and where are you calling from? Oh, man, we're losing them as fast as we're getting them. That was another drop call. Okay, that's all right. Might be something about my introduction. Maybe it's the way I answer the phone. They don't like the way I answer the phone, so they hang up. I don't know. But yeah, so Dave, appreciate you always checking me out, checking out these videos and stuff, and supporting me from the very beginning when the videos were definitely very rough. But yeah, Dave Washington is definitely an awesome guy. And so anyway, yeah, I think I'm just about, unless we can get one more call in here, 248-653-4403. All right, let's try this one. Hello, caller. Thanks for calling the Home-Based Leadership Spiritual Sundays. Thanks for spending Spiritual Sunday with us. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Ned, it's Sonia calling you back.
Sonia, calling back. All right. Yeah.
Two times in a row.
No, it's okay.
I wanted to share an opportunity that I had actually forgot to mention. If anybody out there has never practiced meditation,
yeah.
an amazing opportunity. I'm not sure if all of Michigan knows. We have Sri Sri Ravi Shankar coming in, Your Holiness Sri Sri Ravi Shankar is coming in to town in July.
Yeah.
And he is going to guide us through some amazing 2-day meditations. And I wanted to put a shout out there.
You know what? I'm so glad you called back and to mention that, because you know, I had another meditation teacher who was going to call in and talk about that a little bit more extensively. But I'm so glad that you called back and mentioned that. So Sonia's talking about unveiling infinity, which is an opportunity to come learn meditation from a meditation master. As she mentioned, His Holiness Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, one of Sonia and my Anne Marie's meditation teachers, our meditation teacher. So when is that happening, Sonia? When is Guruji coming to Detroit?
Yes, he is coming on July 9th. I believe it's the 9th and 10th, the Saturday and the Sunday. So
is it the 7th and 8th or 9th and 10th? Let's take a look.
Sorry?
7th or 8th and 9th and 10th. Just looking it up real quick.
Saturday and the Sunday.
Saturday and Sunday. 7th and 8th. 7th and 8th, is that right?
7th and 8th. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
it's coming those 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And if there's anybody out there that doesn't have a meditation practice and hasn't experienced meditation, I would just recommend them to join and experience it with the master of meditation, and just go deep into that place of calm and rest where you can see things with a more positive outlook.
Fantastic way to empty your cup, right? It's a good way to, absolutely. Can you tell us anything about Sri Sri, who he is, what he does? Can you share a little bit of insight? Why should somebody who's never heard of Sri Sri come and learn how to meditate with him?
Yeah, when you give your whole life up to serving and giving of yourself, there's a bigger vision in his mind. And, we do it on some day-to-day basis with our children, with our, whatever we can give, our little bit of contribution. But when you devote your whole life to serving the world and community, helping every country and, building bridges between places that, have had wars, and for so many years, he has come and he unites peace through all of the world. He's done so much great work within the world. So if you can be in the presence of a person who's done that, and with that comes a place of calm in him. And when you're around calm, you feel that experience. You're able to, dip into a little bit of what he has in him that's allowing him to do that. To be very practical, that's the very practical side. So when you're around somebody that can do that, you really, see that there's somebody that's in front of you that's lived a life of unconditional love and giving. And we've seen that in Mother Teresa, in people who have been human forms that have come out there, Buddha, the Dalai Lama, people who are out there just giving unconditional love and, Jesus. And all these practices that they do. There must be something in what they do that has made them who they are. Absolutely. To be able to give.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, yeah, that's great. I see Marie posted up a link here in the comments, unveilinginfinity.org. Do you have any other resources, Sonia, places where we could find out more about Sri Sri or about Unveiling Infinity or about meditation? Is there any places that you know of where maybe somebody who's never even experienced meditation might be able to get their feet wet and just sort of look at this fantastic meditation practice?
Yes, we are setting up different areas. If they can contact me, I'll add my my contact information on the page below, and they can connect with me, and I can put them to resource. We have many different talks happening around all of Michigan. Mm-hmm. So whenever there is an opportunity and something's coming up, I can share some dates for sure.
That'd be great. Yeah, because as we've talked about, meditation is the best way to build a solid foundation in your home and best way to empty out your cup and be grateful, and to create, help you to co-create a better life. Well, thanks for calling back and sharing that with us. I really appreciate you. You definitely sharing that with us, because there's a lot of people out there who would like to learn how to meditate. And what better way to learn to meditate but from a meditation master? Am I right?
Absolutely. Yep. And absolutely. And our mind is quite negative. And what I had heard him say recently when I saw him in Washington is that, you know, we have the positive and we have the negative. And why does negative win? Because when people are negative, they are 100% negative. When people are positive, they are 80% positive. They always have that little bit of doubt, whether I'm good enough, whether I'm able to do it. So that little bit of lacking that positivity creates the negative to be stronger in our lives. So, you know, that's where the mind is. The mind holds on to the negative. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't stay there with positivity as long as we are more negative. We hold on to that. And the way to be positive is our practice.
Spiritual
to remember
practice,
every day with gratitude what we have.
That's right.
And,
That's right.
You know, so
absolutely.
That was great wisdom.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I forgot that you had gone to see Sri Sri in Washington, D.C. Hopefully he was there teaching President Trump how to meditate.
Yes, he was bringing his grace, and he was doing so many wonderful things. He was, you know, he was meeting all people from both sides of parties and sharing positivity, because the only way, you can't shut out people that are, you know, not doing good, because if you do, then who's going to teach them?
Right.
So accepting both and teaching is a really good tool to have, yeah.
Thank you so much for calling in and sharing that. I was hoping we were going to get to cover a little bit about that today. I really appreciate that. And Marie has put up a couple comments here, unveilinginfinity.org, and some free introductory meditation courses. Marie also teaches free introductory meditation courses, and hopefully she'll post up some information about that, or a link to her page where we can find more free introductions to meditation before we get our feet wet. Before we go learn meditation from the master, we can have a little taste test of it. Thanks so much, Sonia, for calling in again. I'm so glad we got the chance to talk a little bit about Unveiling Infinity.
Awesome. Thanks again, Ned. Take care. Have a great Sunday.
You too. Bye-bye. All right. Well, so yeah, having a spiritual practice is the greatest and fastest way to not only empty out your cup, but to fill yourself with gratitude, so that you can co-create with God, with the universe, with, you know, with the divine, to have a happier, healthier, more fulfilled life. And, you know, I hope through these talks, through these videos, that we can explore spirituality some more. We can look further into the spiritual disciplines of prayer, meditation, and fasting, and we can learn how to be people who are more spiritual and more spiritually grounded. And as Sonia was mentioning about uniting people and bringing people together, and as she mentioned about creating peace and happiness throughout the world, and that all comes through uniting people together and just coming to a common ground. So we don't have to agree. You can watch this video and not agree with half the stuff I had to say, or with most of the stuff I had to say. The fact is, if we can just unite together and have love and happiness in our hearts for one another, is what one of the main reasons I do a spiritual practice. It's to help me be a better person, to help you. I'm going to wrap it up now, unless we have one more call right here at the last minute. But Marie's really posted some awesome links here. Unveilinginfinity.org, Sky Meditation. If you are interested in taking a closer look at at meditation, definitely Sky Meditation is probably one of the premier places to take a look. She posted up the link there, skymeditation.org, and a link to Art of Living. So Sri Sri is coming to Detroit, as Sonia said. He is the founder of both the Art of Living Foundation and the International Association of Human Values, which provides us with not only Sky Meditation, but also a few other meditation systems that help to better the world. Prison Smart is one of those where they teach meditation to prisoners. I wish I'd had one of the meditation teachers calling in so that we could have talked about a few of those programs. Maybe next week's program, we can talk about a few more of those meditation programs that come through the International Association of Human Values. Yes for Schools is one that's definitely rolling out big time all across the U.S. to teach kids how to meditate and to help reduce violence and in the schools, which we know we definitely need to focus on a lot more. So that's another part of International Association of Human Values is Yes for Schools, teaching kids how to meditate. My wife is a Yes for Schools teacher, and that's one of the things that she's passionate about. So with that, I am going to wrap it up. Please, goody. She posted, Marie has posted up a link to her Facebook page where you can find, Marie does free introductory meditations. They're absolutely free. She posts up when she's available to do them. She does them all times throughout the week, tries to make it available for people who have jobs and things like that, so that it's easy and convenient for people to gather together. She teaches a free meditation and a way to introductory course. So with that, I would just like to say that having a spiritual practice is an important part of everybody's life. Having gratitude and having an empty cup and being able to receive the best life possible. Real quick before we go, I would say go check out homebasedleadership.com. You can support homebasedleadership.com by clicking on any of the links that go towards Audible, our very first sponsor. Sign up for a free Audible subscription and take away a free book. You can have one free book by having an Audible subscription, and just by going and signing up for that free 30-day trial, you're definitely supporting Home-Based Leadership. I will be talking later on, probably on a Motivation Monday, about the weight loss system that I was experimenting with, that I'm still working with, the system that caused me to lose 9 pounds in 1 week, and I'll definitely be following up with that very soon. My daughter Kimberly wanted to send a quick text saying that she won a major award. I'm not sure if it's a leg lamp or what it is, but we'll have to follow up on that later too. With that, I will say we can have better leaders by becoming better leaders. Home-Based Leadership is your home business and personal development resource. Thank you so much for watching and listening on iTunes, Stitcher, and SoundCloud, where I always appreciate your positive reviews, which help to get this message out to more people. With that, I will say, have a wonderful spiritual Sunday. Bye for now.